friends, this is the story of an Earth where for the past 300 years, superhumans, known as metahumans, have been living alongside humans. And 30 years ago, a spacecraft crashed on Earth from which came out a small child who, after growing up, became the world's most powerful metahuman, Superman, 3 years ago. 3 weeks ago, Superman stopped a country named Boravia from attacking another country named Zaranplar. This became a global issue, and 3 hours ago, a metahuman named Hammer of Boravia attacked Superman. And 3 minutes ago, Superman lost the first battle of his life. He crashed directly into the snow. Superman was severely injured. He blew a whistle that summoned his dog, Krypto, who aggressively started playing with him. Superman said, "Take me home." Krypto dragged Superman by his cape to his base. This base, the Fortress of Solitude, would only open upon detecting Superman's DNA. Here, Superman's AI robots picked him up. They played a video of Superman's parents so he could find comfort in their words. Actually, Superman was from a planet called Krypton, and when it was on the brink of destruction, his parents sent him to Earth in a spaceship. They were giving him a message saying, "You'll be happy on Earth." But that was only half the message. The other half got damaged during the journey. So the AI robots healed him by exposing him to sunlight. Superman derives his power from the rays of the sun. He was 83% healed. Superman then went out again to face the Hammer of Boravia. This hammer wanted revenge on Superman for stopping their country. And this is where we find out that the Hammer of Boravia is being controlled by a very rich man named Lex Luthor, who, along with his team, was pulling the strings to defeat Superman. He remembered all of Superman's fighting moves and managed to beat him again. The scene shifts again to near the Fortress of Solitude. A female engineer working for Lex Luthor arrives here, but the Fortress of Solitude sinks into the ice before her eyes. The story shifts again, this time to Metropolis, where a man named Malik Ali finds Superman. Superman was in a terrible condition, which made Lex Luthor and his team celebrate. The Hammer of Boravia also arrives at Lex Luthor's office via an interdimensional tunnel, and here we learn that in reality there was a metahuman named Ultraman.
Now Superman, or Clark Kent, worked at a newspaper called the Daily Planet. Clark's adoptive parents called him to congratulate him because his article made the front page. A journalist named Lois Lane also worked there. She asked Clark why Superman always gave him interviews. Then, the president of the country Boravia, which Superman stopped from attacking another, was also giving an interview saying they had very good relations with the USA and what Superman did was wrong. The scene shifts. Lex Luthor was showing the US government his metahumans, Ultraman and the engineer, saying that if needed, he could kill Superman. Lex Luthor was portraying Superman as the villain. He said this alien was interfering in our political matters. He has evil plans. Lex said Superman even had a hidden headquarters and he must be interrogated at least once. But the government officials didn't agree. They didn't have solid proof. The story moves to Lois Lane's home, where it is revealed that Lois and Clark Kent, Superman, were dating, and Lois knew his secret. She just teased him at the office. Lois said he couldn't keep interviewing himself, to which Clark said, "Then you interview me." Lois said, "Okay, let's do it now." Lois asked Clark about the war he stopped. Clark said he just prevented Boravia from attacking another country. He broke 2 or 3 tanks and some planes, but no one was seriously injured. Lois asked if he had spoken to the president of Boravia. Clark said yes. He took him alone into a desert, placed him on a cactus, and told him that if he attacked another country, they would meet again. Lois said, "Oh, so you illegally entered a country, threatened its president, and that too a country friendly with the USA? And you did all this for a country that doesn't even have good relations with the USA?" Clark replied, "Zahranpur is improving, and even if a country is imperfect, no other country has the right to attack it." Now, Lois and Clark got into a heated political argument. Lois, as a journalist, was asking questions, and Clark was getting irritated. Their argument escalated. Clark said, "Why are you asking such questions?" Their interview plan completely failed. Clark picked up his things and left. Lois said she knew it wouldn't work, referring to their relationship. The story moves to Lex Luthor. He, along with Ultraman the engineer and his girlfriend, arrives at the Fortress of Solitude. It reappears upon his arrival and allows entry. Ultraman and the engineer fight and destroy all of Superman's robots. The engineer could modify her body particles to fight. But then Krypto attacks her. She captures him in her particles too.
Lex Luthor had come here to find evidence against Superman. He hated that an alien came to Earth and considered himself superior to humans. With the engineer's help, Lex Luthor recovers the damaged message Superman's parents had sent. Meanwhile, Lex had released a kaiju to keep Superman busy. The kaiju grew huge within hours. Superman was busy saving people from the kaiju. He first rescued a puppy. Superman punched the kaiju on one side and stopped it from crashing into a building from the other. He handled the kaiju's fire blasts. He flew into the sky so the kaiju would fire upwards. And then some more metahumans entered, the Justice Gang. This included Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific. Superman said they should try to take the kaiju alive, but the Justice Gang attacked it together. Mr. Terrific used his T-spheres to blow up the kaiju's heart from the inside, killing it right in the middle of the city. Superman carried it to a safe place. Now, Superman knew the Justice Gang, but he wasn't part of their team. Just then, a video appeared on the news. Lex Luthor started telling everyone that they had received a video message from Superman's biological parents. He played this message in front of the entire world. In the message, Superman's parents were saying, "You will be happy on Earth," and the part Superman had never seen before due to the damage said, "The people of Earth are simple, and you will easily be able to rule over them. Take as many lives as you need. Carry forward the Kryptonian bloodline and rule there without mercy." After hearing this, the people of Earth started to believe that Superman hadn't come to save them, but to rule over them. Lex Luthor turned everyone against Superman. Superman was heartbroken. Green Lantern asked him if the message was true. Superman replied that he had only seen the first part of the message and never saw the second part. Mr. Terrific then said, "Look, that video hasn't been tampered with. It's a completely real message." Upon hearing this, Superman immediately headed to the Fortress of Solitude. Meanwhile, the government decided to interrogate Superman. The Baravian president also started speaking more harshly against Superman. He left the press conference and went straight to Lex Luthor through the interdimensional tunnel. They were all in a pocket universe, and even there, Lex Luthor confirmed that the message was real. Superman reached the Fortress of Solitude. His AI robots were completely destroyed. Superman couldn't understand how Lex Luthor had managed to enter there. His dog, Krypto, was also missing. Superman went straight to Lex Luthor's office and angrily asked where his dog was. The media captured all of this. Peacemaker commented on it. Clark broke down and returned home, where Lois was already present. Outside, the Justice Gang was fighting an interdimensional creature. Clark said, "I never saw the full video. I watched half of it and assumed I was meant to help the people of this planet, and that's exactly what I've been doing. I never had any plans to rule anyone." Lois understood him. They resolved their previous fight. Clark said, "I'm going to surrender myself so they'll take me wherever they've taken my dog." Hearing this, Lois hugged him. Clark said, "I love you," and left. Ultraman arrested him, and government officials handed Superman over to Lex Luthor. They took him through an interdimensional portal to a pocket universe. Lex Luthor introduced Superman to Element Man, who could create any element. Element Man created kryptonite to weaken Superman.
Meanwhile, Boravia was ready to attack another country. Lois told her fellow journalist Jimmy Olsen that people suspected Lex Luthor had sold weapons to Boravia, and that's why he didn't want Superman to stop the war. But Borevia had never fully paid Lex Luthor. This meant Lex Luthor had some other reason for instigating this war. Jimmy contacted a source who told him that Superman was in a pocket universe. Jimmy told Lois. The scene shifted to Lex. He had put many monkeys under mind control to spread hate against Superman on social media. Lex Luthor had trapped Krypto in a game to keep him busy. He had imprisoned all his enemies and ex-girlfriends in the pocket dimension. Even Element Man's young son was imprisoned here, and that's why he was obeying Lex Luthor. Then the story shifted to Jimmy Olsen, whose source was none other than Lex Luthor's girlfriend Eve. Eve liked Jimmy but couldn't leave Lex out of fear. Jimmy asked her about the connection between Lex and Borevia. She said if he could find any evidence. Meanwhile, Superman told Element Man, "If you remove the kryptonite, I can save your son." Element Man replied, "Stay quiet." On the other side, Lois reached the Justice Gang. Green Lantern told Lois, "You know Superman wears hypnoglasses so people can't recognize his face, right?" Lois replied, "Yes, and I also know his truth." Mr. Terrific said, "I implanted a nanobot GPS tracker in Superman's blood, but it disappeared at a certain location." This meant Superman was really in a pocket universe. Lois said, "Then we should go there." But due to the video message, the others refused to help Superman. Green Lantern said, "I know he didn't come to rule Earth, but the Justice Gang won't go against the US government." Lois left angrily. Mr. Terrific agreed to help. He took Lois in his aircraft straight to Superman's last known location. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor came to interrogate Superman and brought Malik Ali, the man who had helped Superman. Lex said, "Answer a few questions from the US government or I'll kill this man." Lex asked, "Who raised you?" Superman didn't answer. Lex killed Ali. Seeing this, both Superman and Element Man started crying. Lex said, "We'll meet again tomorrow." Mr. Terrific reached the location. While protecting Lois, he used his T-spheres to defeat all of Lex's people alone. Lois was speechless watching this. When Mr. Terrific saw the interdimensional portal, he was shocked. It was dangerously unstable. If anything went wrong, reality itself could start to tear apart. Element Man was crying and asked Superman, "Will you save my son?" Element Man removed the kryptonite. Superman took a breath of relief, but he needed sunlight for his powers and there was no sun here. Mr. Terrific and Lois reached the pocket universe but couldn't cross further. Element Man tried to create a sun. Seeing this, everyone started shouting. Superman regained his strength, saved Element Man's son and freed Krypto. Just as they were about to escape, Lex's soldiers attacked Superman. He fell into a river with Element Man's son. Meanwhile, the portal started shrinking from being open too long. Mr. Terrific searched for Superman using his T-spheres, but Krypto, thinking they were toys, chewed them. Superman was drifting towards a black hole. He asked Krypto for help. Element Man also came to help. Superman blew wind towards the black hole, flew in the opposite direction and escaped. Mr. Terrific showed them the way with his T-spheres. Everyone safely escaped. But Superman's condition worsened. He needed time to heal. Lois took him in the aircraft and left. The story shifted to Lex Luthor. He was furious that Superman had escaped. He took his anger out on his girlfriend. Hurt by this, Eve contacted Jimmy and said, "I have everything needed to destroy Lex Luthor." Jimmy was happy, but Ultraman overheard Eve and captured her. Jimmy only received many of Eve's photos. Meanwhile, Lois took Superman to his home where his adoptive parents lived. This is where Clark had spent his entire childhood. Then Lois got a call from Jimmy. He sent her the photos and Lois noticed important documents in the background. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor deliberately activated his portal. It overloaded and began tearing reality. He did this on purpose so that Superman would be distracted and the war between the two countries could proceed. The next morning, Superman regained consciousness. His father said, "You've never slept this long before." They discussed the message from Superman's biological parents. His father said, "Parents don't decide what their child will become. Your choices and decisions define who you are." Just then, Clark saw the news about the war. Green Lantern also saw it. The people of Zaharanpur were waving Superman's flag, remembering their hope. They were all calling out to Superman. He prepared to help them, but Mr. Terrific called him. "You need to come here first, otherwise not just Zaharanpur, the whole Earth won't survive."
Metropolis was being evacuated because reality nearby was tearing apart. At the Daily Planet, Lois told her boss that Lex Luthor had made a deal with the Baravian president to take half of Zaharanpur in exchange for weapons. Lex wanted to become king there after the war. He had orchestrated everything. Lois's boss took his lead journalists and they all boarded the aircraft with her. The dimensional rift started splitting Metropolis in half. Lex Luthor and his aircraft office flew away. A building was about to collapse on people. A woman was stuck in it, but Superman saved her. Mr. Terrific told Superman that Lex had the code to stop this, but Ultraman and Engineer attacked them. Superman fought them, but Lex, controlling Ultraman, overpowered him. Lex injected Engineer's particles into Superman's body, attacking him from inside. Lex also ordered Baravia to attack Zarenpur. Their tanks advanced towards civilians. But Superman got up with courage. He flew into the air, trying to push out the particles. Engineer and Ultraman chased him. Superman could have died any moment. He jumped high into space and dove back down. If he hit the ground, Engineer wouldn't survive. That's what happened. Engineer was knocked unconscious. Superman expelled the particles from his body and finally breathed. Then Superman discovered Ultraman was none other than his clone, but not as intelligent, more like a dummy, fully controlled by Lex. The Baravian army attacked Zarenpur. A little boy stopped Superman's flag from falling, remembering him. Green Lantern arrived to help. Together with Hawkgirl and Element Man, they stopped the war. Hawkgirl threw the Baravian president down from the sky. Seeing all this, Lex said, "Superman, I'm not trying to kill you because you stopped the war. I started this war to have an excuse to kill you." Ultraman attacked Superman with a laser beam. Superman realized he couldn't win like this, so he called Krypto with a whistle. He told Krypto to take all the toys. Krypto destroyed all of Lex's cameras. Now Lex couldn't control Ultraman. Superman defeated Ultraman. Lex sent more soldiers, but they were nothing against Superman. He killed them with his lasers. Then Ultraman returned again. Superman threw him straight into a black hole. Mr. Terrific said, "We need to stop this rift." They reached Lex's office. Mr. Terrific started fixing the rift. Superman said to Lex, "I'm human just like you. I make mistakes like humans. I feel confused like humans. I feel pain like humans. These things make me human." Lex said, "Whatever the case, the government has ordered me to end you." Just then, Krypto attacked Lex, and even Superman couldn't stop him. Mr. Terrific fixed the dimensional rift. Lex's full truth was broadcast on TV. Everyone realized Lex was the main villain. The war with Baravia stopped. Element Man joined the Justice Gang. All prisoners from Lex's jail were freed. Lois and Superman patched things up. The Fortress of Solitude robots were also repaired. And then Superman's cousin, Supergirl, appeared. Krypto was actually her pet. She was the one who made Krypto so aggressive. And with that, friends, our story ends here. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.